just hashtag boss your future. So welcome to this series, the Facebook Digital Masterclass. We're going to cover a couple of things. We're going to cover the digital marketing fundamentals. We're going to cover the types of digital marketing campaigns, Facebook digital marketing, Facebook ads, and then we're going to do a little bit of a rundown. We're going to do a drill, and I'll show you the platform, what it looks like to advertise on Facebook. So we'll start with the fundamentals. And so the big one is, what is digital marketing? Does anyone want to have a go answering this? What does it mean to market yourself with a digital means? Any takers? Any hands up? Not yet, maybe too soon, but oh, there is a hand up. Is it Vedant?
Yes, it's Vedant. So whenever we are marketing something to the virtual sources, or sometimes when we are going on Facebook and then there are virtual ads popping up on the side. So that's how we are virtually marketing, not really physically showing somewhere, or let's say YouTube videos. So the ad that comes before the videos, that is how we are digitally marketing our product or service.
Yeah, that is correct and very spot on. Thank you so much, Vedant. Perfect. Yeah, pretty much what Vedant said. Digital marketing encompasses all marketing efforts that include anything electronic, any electronic device, the internet, anything online. That's the whole space. Businesses, we all leverage digital channels like search engines such as Google, Bing. I know Bing is a bit more popular in Asia than it is in Australia. Social media, email, and other websites to connect with current and prospective customers. So there's a couple of important concepts to learn. And we'll go through all these 8 concepts. So a conversion is any action on your website that is valuable for you. Conversion can be a very arbitrary word in reality, but it can mean anything from someone registering their name, email, and phone number, or it can mean a sale. It's any action that will forward your business. So there's some that are kind of like micro actions, such as signing in your details, liking posts, and then there's the macro actions, the big actions, which would be a sale or that sort of bigger conversion. A call to action is the question, the ask. Would you like to buy now? Would you like to start your journey? Would you like to read this audiobook? The click-through rate is a really interesting one. It's a percentage, and it's the percentage of people that click onto the specific link. So I don't know how many of you use Facebook or Instagram, but if you see an ad and then you click, you will count it as part of that ratio that clicks. So for example, if the ad is shown to 100 people, and if 3 people click, that's a 3% click-through rate. And of course, with any of this, the higher, the better. And the Facebook algorithms actually capture this, and they prioritize advertisers and marketers and businesses with a higher click-through rate rather than a lower one. So it's a really great metric to follow and keep an eye on. Pay per click. I have to say that one really slowly, because when I say it too fast, it sounds like paperclip. But pay per click advertising is a model of marketing in which advertisers pay, and everything is by the click. So this is predominantly Google Ads. Usually it's free. When you do a Google ad, it's free to show. But then once people click, then they pay for that click. It can also happen on Facebook. It's a really great metric. So a really good one is the cost per click, how much it costs. So how many eyeballs see it and then how much it costs. Really key metric. Oh, there we go. The cost per click. It refers to the actual price you pay. And it's interesting because some industries are like $2 per click. And then other more competitive industries, such as anything in the computing space, like cybersecurity companies, you'd expect to pay about $30 a click. But the intent to buy is higher. But the cost per click is a good, really great metric, and you want this to be as slow as possible, but you also want quality people coming through the door. This one's the bounce rate. So this is when people visit your website, and there may be people that just see your homepage and then they leave. And then there might be people that go into different pages. They go into your about page. They might read a couple of blogs. That is not when it bounces. So a bounce rate is when people hop into your page and then they immediately leave. Or maybe they stick around for a while, but they're not visiting your other pages. And so if you have a one-page website, I wouldn't worry about this too much. But if you have several pages and you want to show people around, then and your bounce rate is quite high, then you need to check are you engaging people? Is the navigation looking good? Like is the website making sense for people? Because sometimes it doesn't. It might be a bit clunky on an iPhone or on an Android device. And then SEO stands for search engine optimization. And after you create your website, the journey doesn't stop there. You actually have to have the keywords show up on Google. And so say if you're a plumber or a hairdresser. Oh, someone just off mute. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so you want to show up on the ranking, and SEO, say you are a hairdresser and you go hairdresser near me, you want to be showing up. So that's SEO. SEO is kind of like a race to the top. I think from memory, 31% of people click on the first search result. So if you are on the very first bar on Google or on any search engine, that means that you're going to get most of that market. So it's Google is really focused on quality, and so is Facebook, of course, as well. And they really prioritize the quality of your ads. But SEO is more so for Google, because on Facebook, you tend to push content, whereas on Google, you kind of tend to be discovered by those specific keywords. So I'll move on to, I just thought we could break it up and do a bit of a fun activity before we move along. But is there anyone here who has a business idea and would like to see how many people are searching for a particular keyword? I've got this really great tool. It's called Keywords Everywhere, and it allows me to see how many people search for things on Google. I'll show you one. So if I type in face mask, I love this one. It's very fascinating. I'll just wait for it to load. So as you can see, it's probably very small. That might be a bit bigger. But as you can see, there's 2,200 people in Australia typing face mask. I'll just move it to a global, because we're all from all over the world here. So I'll just refresh that. Yeah, so there's about 500,000 people searching for that around the world in a month. And as you can see here, face masks didn't have much interest. It wasn't what people were searching for. Whoops, I accidentally clicked on something. wasn't really what people were interested in. And then Corona happened and boom, 5 million a month. Oh, that this would be a per week actually. So yeah, so this is a really interesting report, or a really interesting plugin. You can see trends and patterns, which is really wonderful. And I was wondering, is there anyone with a business concept or a business idea who would like to give this a go? Just feel free to raise your digital hand.
Or maybe there's still ideas here for now.
Yeah, I'll come up with some ideas. What else is a very interesting one? Let me think. Maybe if you're looking for a cafe near me, if you're a cafe owner, you can see that 1.5 million people around the world are searching for this search term, or anything like, what is it? Maybe people are looking for a business coach. And you can find the trend. So there's 33,100 around the world looking for business coaching. So there's all sorts of different things. I use this plugin called Keywords Everywhere. It's a Chrome extension. I pay for it, but frankly, not a lot of money. I pay, let's say, $10 US, and it lasts me about 8 months. So if you do use Google Chrome, just type in Keywords Everywhere Chrome extension. It's a bit of a pickle to download, but once you have it downloaded, it is wonderful to use. I use it all the time. I use it to win arguments with people. It's great. Like if they're going, oh, no one's searching for that, then I say, well, let's have a look. Google knows. Because the thing is, there's a really great book, I forgot the name of it, but it says that sometimes you don't know stuff. Your friends don't know stuff about you. You might not even know stuff about yourself, but guess who knows? Google knows, because they search for every keyword, every trend, every pattern. It's just wonderful. So I'll get back to the slides. And I'll start sharing again. Oh, I think I pressed the wrong, there we go. Yeah, so moving on from that, SEM is search engine marketing. So SEO is the free version of it. And it's a form of internet marketing that involves the promotion of the website by increasing the visibility. So you can have SEO where you rank to the top, and that's doing it for free. SEM means that you pay money for it, and you pay for those pay per clicks. The cost per click is a very key metric in this. And so there's three main pillars as well. There's paid media, owned media, and earned media. Paid media refers to external marketing efforts such as Facebook ads or Google ads, anything that sort of pushes your content out there or increases the visibility when you pay for it. That's typically known as paid media. And it's an essential component, especially when brands are really starting out and getting their brand and reputation out there. Paid media is very key for a lot of brands. These are a few examples. There's this guy, I don't know if this guy, I just see him all the time. You click on his website and he follows you everywhere. He is definitely in paid media. Owned media. Owned media is anything that you own. So it's your website, your blogs, maybe a LinkedIn post that you did. If you own a YouTube channel, it could be that. It's something that is uniquely yours and belongs to your brand. And so, yeah, owned media is all of those. Oh, yeah, your social media channels, anything that is just exclusively yours, has your logo on it. For example, this top rank, this content marketing here, this is an example. And same with this Top Rank Marketing. Oh, this is the same company. So this is their website. This is their social media. And earned media is anything that creates that, that virality. When people love it so much, they're like, whoa, check it out. And then you tag Jimmy and Bobby and Fred, you tag all your friends because you're so excited. That's earned media. It's virality, shares, reposts, anything like testimonials, recommendations, you've earned that. So that's what it means. And a lot of sites really like that. I know Google really likes that, also Facebook, but particularly if you are a local store, they really like those Google reviews. And generally speaking, the more Google reviews that you get, the higher you rank. So see here, there's 89 likes, shares, comments. This is all earned media. And so paid media can also be earned media, and like it's all interlinked. And here's another activity we can do. I really like looking at the ads library. Part of being a digital marketer sometimes means that I have to be a professional stalker, and I love it. Like this is a lot of fun. If anyone would like to raise their digital hand, if they've got any ideas for any brands that they'd like to have a look at, but I'll show you in the meantime how to look at these different brands. So I'm just going to open up Facebook, and I'm going to go maybe to, I'll think of this yoga site called Body, Mind and Soul. Body, Mind and Soul. I think, no, that's not them. Body and Soul. So I'll have a look at this brand. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so it's kind of like a holistic brand, all about communication, psychology. So you can see here, I don't think they do a lot of advertising. A lot of boosting posts. So they don't do that whole, paid media to be seen here. But let's see if they're advertising. Yes, they are running ads. So whenever you want to see, you can click on the page transparency button, and then you can go to the ad library. And in this ad library, this is so great because you can see this is what they're advertising. So while they're really quiet on the front, like on the, I'm just going to move this. Oh, there we go. While they're really quiet on this portion, see, they're not really doing much advertising. They are actually putting a lot of ads out there. These ads have been running since August. So they do a lot of different things. And they get taken to a specific landing page. So this one's more of a blog. So they're getting taken to blogs at the moment. So with your competitors, you can actually do that for your own business. It's so wonderful. Facebook's made it all very transparent for everyone to see. Does anyone have any questions? I see some stuff on the chat. I'm just wondering if there's any questions regarding that or anything I've said before. If not, I'm happy to move along. I'll present again, and I'll show you the types of campaigns and digital campaigns. Oops, went too early there. Why would a business choose digital marketing? Can someone answer that? Maybe, who is it? I can't quite see your names. Oh,
Okay, my name is Agung here from Indonesia. I think digital marketing actually is how to place our advertising through a global network. Yeah, So the market that we want to grab is not only within, for example, if we marketing something from Indonesia, so we are not only marketing in Indonesia, but we want also to get the market from other country through this website or through internet, global internet, something like that.
Yeah, that's a great way, because it makes it accessible to people you wouldn't otherwise have spoken to. That's very spot on. I love it. I'll move along to Vedant.
Yes,
Why-
especially, yes. So especially after the pandemic, we saw like how everything was started to work from home thing. And so we started going online. And so I think this is the most appropriate time to do things digitally, even before it was happening. But in past 1.5 year, it's booming. And this was one point, and another point was that I feel maybe it's cheaper than physically making your advertising and posting them.
Absolutely. Yeah, for a lot of parts, it is cheaper, and it is when a lot of people in many countries are in lockdown. It is very important.
Like
So
for
thank you.
instance, this Academy of Entrepreneurs, I only got to know about it through online source. So this is on digital marketing from your end as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And things like me being here in Sydney and you guys being, in the Philippines or in Indonesia, or, it's all, or in different parts of the world. It's all a really amazing opportunity as well to connect all of us together. So thank you for that, Vedant. And Gina, why would a business choose digital marketing?
Yeah, as Vedant said earlier, that it's more cheaper and it will practically cost less effort, like physical effort for us to market it, and then it reaches everyone all around the world without any, practically without any difficulties, and it can be targeted. You can see, like you said. We can see which trend is and trending right now, and then we can adjust to that. So we want to pursue or we want to target.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much for your share. That is all very true and very spot on. Someone else had their hand up. I think they just put it down. No worries. Well, I'll go ahead and share the screen again. Yeah, so all of those reasons were very valid, very true. And yeah, the benefit for a lot of the time really outweighs the cost. The benefit doesn't always mean revenue or profit. It doesn't translate normally, or in a lot of cases in monetary terms, but it means having a positive result, a positive experience on your campaigns. But I also find that one of the most transparent ways to find out the revenue, because you can actually put tracking to see how much money was spent and how much money was made. And it doesn't say exactly who bought it, but it'll say 5 people bought from your store today, and you spent $100 and you made $500. You can actually see all of that in a dashboard. And I think that is as transparent as marketing gets. So there's 3 types of general marketing campaigns. There's the branding ones, which is all about brand awareness. It is really about doing your reputation, engaging with your users. So it's really like it's selling without selling. Then you got the conversions, which is the next level down. So after people have become aware and interested in your brand, then the next thing to do is to send them onto your website or send them to fill out a form. And then at the end of that, there's this isn't included in here, but there's also remarketing. So in an e-commerce store setting, if someone's gone and put something in your cart, but they haven't actually committed to a purchase. I mean, I know I do that myself when I'm online shopping. I see something I like, and I go and I'm about to buy it, and at the end of I'm like, no, it's not a good idea. And then I see the Facebook ad following me around. I mean, how many of you have had that experience? I know I have. So that's a remarketing campaign, and that's also something you can do on Facebook. And then there's also feedback campaigns where you can gather customer feedback, and it's really wonderful. And more than ever, people can be really honest in social media. And it's actually stopped a lot of businesses from going out of business by giving honest and constructive feedback. The business owners can actually work on their business, on the flaws and on the gaps, so that they can then really revamp their brand. I absolutely love this campaign. I just hope that the volume was working okay. Sometimes it doesn't. But what I'll do is I'll play it, and if the volume works fine, just give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't, just give me a thumbs down, and we'll move it along.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm gonna just give you some actions to do, and just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl.
My hair.
Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aw. My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
Is like a girl a good thing?
Actually, I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. Sounds like a bad thing. Sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down, because during that time, they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
And what advice do you have to young girls who are told they run like a girl, kick like a girl, hit like a girl, swing like a girl?
Keep doing it because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, you're doing it right. Doesn't matter what they say. I mean, yes, I kick like a girl and I swim like a girl and I walk like a girl and I wake up in the morning like a girl because I am a girl. And that is not something that I should be ashamed of. So I'm going to do it anyway. That's what they should do.
If I asked you to run like a girl now, would you do it differently?
I would run like myself.
Would you like a chance to redo it?
Why can't run like a girl also mean win the race?
I mean, how amazing is that ad? I just love it. It's so good. It's so inspirational. I feel like every time I see this ad, I drink a lot of water to kind of hide my tears, because I always get very touched by this. But the point of this ad is to do a brand awareness campaign. So it's really to share the values. It's that whole thing, sell without selling. So Always is actually an American lady sanitary products company. but they don't say anything like buy my products or here they are. It's about inspiration. It's about really sharing those brand values. The analogy I have for a lot of people is without doing campaigns around brand awareness, it's like asking the person that you're dating on the first date if you want to marry them. It's very sudden, very soon. So you take them out on a few dates or you do a few inspirational campaigns, and then when it comes to it, then you can then do the conversion campaigns. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to run a conversion campaign. This one, it has a very different feel to it. Again, give me thumbs up if you can hear and the volume's okay. Thumbs down if it's not. That would be greatly appreciated. So I know on your end if it sounds okay.
Hello, I'm a Mac. And I'm a PC. Action! 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 Sventai, you okay?
No, I'm not okay. I have that virus that's going around.
Oh, yeah.
You better stay back. This one's a doozy.
That's okay, I'll be fine.
No, do not be a hero. Last year, there are 114,000 known viruses for PCs.
PCs, not Macs. So just grab this.
I think I got to crash.
Hey, if you feel like that'll help.
So that ad, it's quite humorous. I enjoy seeing it every time. It makes me laugh a little bit, but it's really a direct ad. It's really there to say, I'm a Mac, I don't get viruses, so you should buy me. It has a very implicit message. These are some Facebook ads that we found. So this one here is a conversion ad, because the call to action is really there. It's saying, hey, try us out, 14-day free trial. It'll be great. Whereas this one here on the right, it's all about talking about sustainability and the colors and free shipping. So it's more along the lines of brand awareness. People may not buy from this, but they may in the future. Oh, and this is a feedback ad. So Starbucks did this really amazing campaign. I think where they asked people to make their own coffee the way they like it. And they did a competition and asked for feedback. And so people put in their different flavors, different, the things that they like. Do they like Oreos? Do they like Milo? Just asking everyone to get creative, and the winners won something. And as a result, they did more market research, and they found that all the brands that really enjoy using Starbucks, or they found the specific flavors that people like. It opened a whole world of ideas for them. Now, with brand awareness or conversion ads, are there any questions that you guys have with that? And if not, I'm happy to move it along. Oh.
Jessica, Agung here again. Yeah. I think you mentioned about the three type of marketing campaigns, right? So the third one is feedback. So is it good for us if we also place the bad or negative feedback in our feedback?
Oh, absolutely. Well, negative feedback is all part of it. So the best thing to do around negative feedback, and this is a brilliant question, Agnes. Thank you for asking. It's negative feedback you occasionally get, and the trick is to not hide it, but rather respond to it. Sometimes you can take people offline, meaning like outside of the public space, and maybe on a private messaging app, and resolve that in the app with them, or maybe on a phone call, and then ask them to say, we've resolved your request, or you can say that. There's also negative feedback that I get. A lot of my clients, they say that, a lot of people aren't in their databases. I think people may just be in a bad mood, or I'm not sure what's going on with them. But what they do is they say, oh, this product is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Then you just say, oh, hi, I'm sorry to hear that. However, we can't find you in your database. So there's also that to counteract negative feedback. But the algorithms like it when you're responding to it and when you react to it as well. And the trick is to avoid hiding it as well. The algorithms don't really like that. Does that answer your question, Agnuk?
Yes, correct. You know, my experience before, I work for the international company, the information is considered as a secret for us, you know, because anyone to expose the secret company to others, it will be impact, field of our business. That's why I asked the question, whether we can expose, the feedback that we have in our website, for example, because this, especially for the negative feedback, I think you have already answered my question. Thank you. That's a very great answer, I think.
Oh, thank you. I know bigger companies, they have like a full script of the things to say. So they actually do the scenario planning, and they anticipate all of the things, that could go wrong, and all of the things that they can anticipate. And so forming responses and forming a script. So whenever things like things do go south, they don't go as planned, you have a script available and you have a plan. So that's another thing that's very useful. It's usually done with, larger companies and larger teams.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's another thing to kind of counteract all of that. But yeah, it's the aim is to resolve as much as you can in communication and then opt for more positive feedback.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that, how fast we take action, right? So whenever we have feedback, that will be also make our client, satisfied back, return back to what we expect them to do. Because, one of the objective is how we expect them to buy something from us, right? If we put the advertising in the digital, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you. If there's no more questions, I'm happy to move it along. Actually, what I'll do is I'll stop sharing and I'll see if there's any questions on the chat. Oh my gosh, there's so many questions.
Yeah.
Let me open.
So I will help you a bit, Jessica.
Thank you.
We have questions. Sure, we have questions. The first one is from Gina. I believe this is about the Google Trend. Yes. So she asks if the Google Trend alone is an enough tool for us to do a market research, especially for beginner entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Oh, you mean with the Keywords Everywhere extension?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a brilliant place to do market research because you can explore the things that people are actively looking for. I think it's a really great way, and it's relatively inexpensive as well to collect that data and information. Absolutely.
Great. I think Gina is also here. If you want to ask like a follow-up question, Gina, you have a minute for that.
I think she already answered it. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have questions from. Well, I'm really happy. There's a lot of discussion going on in the chat actually. And we have Jessica. Jessica asked how to allocate budget for digital ads. Yeah. If we have to spend at least 20% of the margin, or is there an ideal proportion? What do you think, Jessica? From Jessica to Jessica.
Oh, lovely. Beautiful question. Well, look, it is totally arbitrary. Generally, how I work with my clients is we come up with a goal. So we come up like, say you want 20 clients in the month. And so say every client is worth $10 for you. So then the 20 times 10 means you need a budget of 2,000 to fulfill that. I hope I got my maths right, but anyway, you find the number of people. So say it's say you want 20 clients and it's $5. So 20 times 5 is 100. So then that's how you can allocate your spend, by looking at your business goals and then sort of working backwards from there, and then going, is this feasible for me? Is this how I'd like to spend my budget?
Okay, so it's more like flexible, right? It depends on how you allocate your budget yourself for the marketing. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I work with that a lot. I say, for example, at least maybe 20% of your marketing budget for brand awareness, and then have a look at your cost per purchasing customer, and then work from there. Like, say it costs $20 for a customer and you want X amount, then you calculate how many new customers you'd like.
Okay, so there's not like a kind of a rule of thumb, like 20% of the overall margins or whatsoever.
Yeah, they say 10%, but I mean, that's for larger entities. For a startup, I think it's kind of like, it's very ad hoc. You kind of have to do maybe like, the other one I recommend is doing a test budget. So be willing to spend around $200, $500 and just see what happens in the test run. And if you do get any customers or not, and then see if how much for, and is it feasible for you? That's another way to go around it. And that's how you can calculate how much it costs for you to have a customer, a new customer.
Okay, that makes sense, I think. Yeah, because as a startups, you need more awareness, and that's a key point, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And it's also key to kind of dip your toes in the water. As a startup, we have to be totally innovative and reactive to whatever happens. So having like a little bit of a test to kind of put your toe in the water, check the temperature, is it okay?
Okay, great. I see another question from Anissa. Anissa Selfie? So to start a business through social media is not easy. There are many things to think about. According to you, how to respond to the problems that often occur to start a business. For example, to determine product prices and others. Okay, this is already going to the next step, I think.
Yeah,
but you have some. Yeah.
Well, I guess to answer that, I think that there is like starting a new business, a new social media. It's kind of like running up a hill, like a very steep hill. It's very difficult to get on top of that hill. And what you need to do is, first of all, be consistent on social media. Second of all, be genuine and keep an eye on your tracking, like how many people like your posts. Do people interact and engage? Do they enjoy your posts? And then just keep on posting content to really grow that community. It's all about building a community. So I guess that I hope that briefly answers your question.
But I think that's a really great answer. I totally agree with that. The key is the persistence and consistency, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And also quality. My rule of thumb is you are better off doing, say, 1 quality post a week than like 5 posts a week just for the sake of it. Just, because you feel like you have to. I prefer to work with cleverly curated content and then launch it out.
Cannot agree more. Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you from Anissa. I think we can move on, Jessica.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Let me just turn on my light and fix it is getting to that time of day where it's turning into night. So just give me 1 second.
Sure. And for all participants, if you have questions, you can always raise your hands or you can type it in the chat box.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Desi, for giving me a hand with those questions. I'll move it along on the slide deck. Can everyone see that? Oh, we have one from Vedant.
Yeah, a quick question just now, because
Yeah,
we
of
were
course.
talking about brand awareness. But let's say it's a startup. The other companies, they already had a social media presence. So when it is a startup, then we don't have a media presence. So at that time, how do we brand ourselves? How do we get people to know about us?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think it's again being consistent. You're going to start with 0 followers, and it's all about building that. Leveraging friends and family is always good as a startup. And just consistently keep going at it and post quality content for your brand awareness, like things that people will enjoy and resonate. And you can measure that by the number of likes and shares and comments that you get. And then you'll find what, like slowly over time, you'll find what people like. But at the same time, with your brand awareness, I recommend you do your conversion campaigns at the same time, being a startup. Because you need to find things out and fast. You don't have a lot of budget as a startup typically. And so you want to really find things out sooner rather than later.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Oh, certainly it does. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Fantastic. So I'll move us along. So how Facebook works. Facebook has more than 2.2 billion people logging in every month, and 1.45 billion of them log into every day. Facebook also owns Instagram and WhatsApp. And a lot of you know, of course, Messenger as well. They also partner up with news articles. Like the BBC News and all of these, I don't know specifically them, but they partner up with all these other companies. If you like your mobile games, I know I do, Facebook owns a portion of that. So when I was working with an app, a lot of the installs actually came from those games, like Candy Crush and all those sort of different games. So there's also that there's many different windows to advertise on Facebook. But it's a database where many of your customers are spending a lot of time. And one of the things that we're going to talk about is how to generate leads on Facebook. So a lead, and maybe I've used this term today and I don't realize, because I've been in marketing for, I suppose, 7-8 years. Sometimes I don't realize that I'm speaking the jargon. But a lead essentially is the person who has indicated interest in your company's product or service by giving you the information in some way. So it could be something like, to sign up for a PDF, give me your email, your number, and your name. Or if you want a free voucher, I'm a real foodie. I like myself a good burger from time to time. So if I want to get a free burger, sometimes I put in my details, I get the voucher, and I go to the shop. So just anything like that to exchange something for your details. And then they generally, the idea is to generally follow on and continue on advertising. That could look like email campaigns, or people can actually give you a call and you can have a conversation. People give their information in a variety of ways. So they could fill a form, like I said, to download that ebook, to request a demo. If you're a software as a service, like if you're an application, sometimes you call for a demo. Another one is to complete an online survey. And then another one is to submit some other form. Another one I really like and recommend for startups, especially if you're in the services industry, it's given the COVID situation, it's webinars. Appearing with webinars can be really effective for your brand and your business. And if you've got something really catchy, you can do a free webinar and advertise that on Facebook as well. And people that like your posts don't count as leads. Typically, a lead is someone that, I love this warning symbol. It's typically someone that likes your stuff. You don't really have their information, therefore you can't call them or email them. So a lead is someone whose information you actually have, and you can then reach out again and contact. There's ways to generate leads on Facebook. There's organic, and then there's paid. Organic means free. It's another marketing term that we use a lot in the digital industry. But frankly, in this day and age, organic is coming to a very steep decline. In 2017, Facebook actually said, hey guys, we've got 2 billion people now. We're going to slow down the algorithm for business owners. So now everything is paid. And so that's trending. You can get a little bit of organic still, but it's generally, for the most part, it's paid advertising. So organic posts turn people who are already following you into leads. Sometimes they can, like especially if the call to action, if you say, hey, sign up for this, and if we get your name, email, and number, we give you a voucher, we give you a PDF, something that they find valuable. And paid ads turn people who aren't following you into leads as well. So it depends how you do it, but generally nowadays it is trending more towards paid. And the best way to use Facebook is to supplement your organic efforts with advertising. So a lot of the time, if your posts are really working, especially for brand awareness, maybe not so much for lead generation in my experience, but you can always boost those posts and get more reach and more brand awareness. And they've recently, maybe in the last 3 to 6 months, they've recently done this update where if you interact, if you like, share, comment, watch a video, you can actually retarget people into a conversion ad. So that those people are already very warm and they'd be more likely to buy or to do another action. Organic ads and paid leads. So let's talk about organic lead generation posts, lead ads, and link click ads. Posting a link that generally takes people into a website, like a learn more and then fill in your details. That's one way to do lead generation. There's another one here where people can actually, that there is a lead format and you get a little pop-up and you can actually put your details in there and it's already pre-filled by Facebook. So people don't have to leave the Facebook app. And it just depends what kind of business you are. Maybe you're the kind of business that needs a little more information. So then you maybe want to take them onto a website where they can read more, find out a bit more. But if it's something like free pizza, and you go, oh my God, pizza, you write it down, you don't even think about it, don't give it second thoughts, you write your name, you get your voucher, you go to the pizza shop. And yeah, with those forms, Facebook auto-populates everything. So people don't actually have to type their details. A really effective ad I've seen is the January fitness ads. Gyms do like 90% of their marketing in January when people have their New Year resolutions. January and February are the months to target, and they do a lot of these ads. And more than 80% of social media usage comes from a mobile device. I would say it's looking more like 90%. So really think about having mobile first, having everything load really fast on your browsers. And link click ads, yep, these ads drive traffic and then to a dedicated landing page on the site. And a landing page is different to a website. A website is more like an online business card where you see the about, you might see some blogs, you might see some contact details, whereas a landing page has a specific action. And that action could be for someone to fill out a form or to buy from your e-commerce store. So we're going to look at the anatomy of a successful ad a successful lead generating ad on Facebook, what that looks like. First things first, it needs a destination. So you need to be really clear on the goal. Because when we'll do the Facebook ad together in a sec, but the first question Facebook asks is, what do you want to achieve? And so you say, I'd like to get more Facebook likes, or I'd like more traffic in my website, or I actually want to make some sales here. So you can actually adjust those details to Facebook, and it needs a specialized page or a specialized format in which you kind of take your customers on a journey. Yeah, so a destination is like a landing page. So here you put your name, you put your details, password, and you go ahead and create an account. They've made this nice and easy. And the trick is to make it very easy and obvious and pleasant for people to then register their details. You can also generate tracking links. So you can use Google Analytics as well to track the performance of your Facebook ad. It's free, and Google Analytics is free as well. So if you don't have it on your website already, I highly, highly recommend you install it, because it's free, it's very good. You won't be able to see the complete picture, but you could see like 80-90% of the data, and you can really study the trends, like how many people have come on Facebook, how many of them have become leads. It's all very fascinating. As you can probably tell, I'm very big on analytics and data. That's kind of my thing. But a successful lead gen ad also includes a really valuable call to action. So you usually see this button, shop now, learn more, book now, anything that invites. That's another really successful thing. And make sure it's really clear that you're sending them to a form, or you're sending them to learn more information. Like, be as specific as you can. And my other tip is to also include just one call to action, because a lot of brands and companies, they tend to do this like and share and comment and subscribe, and then comment and then buy something. The trick is to really take them into one, especially for a conversion ad. You want to take them into one goal and really direct the traffic towards that one goal. And especially in a startup environment where the budgets are tight, this would be very key. And yeah, you can use verbal phrases like get your cheat sheet, download.
Gak ketahuan update-nya ntar. Jadi harus emang dengerin sampai akhir.
Yeah, so you can say anything. I like to use start your journey or start your learning when I do my ads. So anything inviting, anything captivating. A successful ad also includes a compelling image. So a picture is 1,000 words. And just keep an eye on the Facebook dimensions. Usually this here is how many pixels wide it is, and then this is how many pixels tall it is, and it's measured by a pixel, which is, I don't know, like a tenth or like a very tiny part of a centimeter, but that's sort of the online measurement, and everything's used in pixels. I'll also show you something really fun. I do enjoy my Chrome extensions. Let's see if I can close this and share it. But this one is also a free extension, and it's called the Page Ruler. I think it's called Page Ruler Redux. So if you Google Page Ruler Redux, it's a really great way to really show something. So let me show you a website. And in here, say you really like these sort of images here, for example. And so you can go and use your ruler and then measure everything corner to corner, or you can get the rough approximate amount. And you get here the dimensions, the width and the height in pixels. So when you're building your website, this is really useful, because sometimes you can build like an image that's like really tall or really wide, and it just looks really off. This tool has been an absolute lifesaver for me, because I can understand how many dimensions in pixels there could be. So I'll stop sharing that and I'll go back onto the slides. But yeah, generally, you can also Google the dimensions. You could say, what's a dimension of an Instagram post, a Facebook post? The one I typically like to look at is it's 1080 by 1080. So 1080 by 1080 pixels are the ads that I use personally to put my Facebook ads. So I get the perfect square, and that goes into many dimensions. For ad posts, choose your images manually. We recommend you create your own images instead of using stock photos. And if you do decide to use stock photos because you are a startup, I recommend to really have a look at people's facial expressions. There can be some of them that are very sometimes quite dramatic or quite false looking. So just be really careful because that is representing your brand. And yeah, try use your own photos. A lot of you may be good at captivating selfies. I know I can't take a selfie for the life of me, but kudos to all of you that can. But that's really useful for your brand, especially if it's a personal brand or a brand of a product, to take product photography. That's also very handy. So getting started with audience targeting. Have a look at which audience you want to reach before doing a Facebook ad and how you reach them. There's a concept in the marketing world called buyer personas, and this is coming up with a generalized fictional character, and you share the demographics, interests, and goals. So you get the demographic details like not name, but age and location. So you can target them with more precision, and then you can target them psychographically. So that's to do with values, beliefs, what are they interested in? This is an example of someone, Susan, a 66-year-old female. This is how much she earns, 120K a year. This is what she likes. She loves her grandkids. She loves cooking. She travels to Europe, and she goes to reading groups. And so it's really great to understand that. And also, it's not really on the slide deck, but understanding their pain points, like what's something that they really sort of struggle with, or like what's the problem that you're looking to solve as a business. So we'll come up with an example buyer persona. Oops. I'll just exit that. Let's say here there's an example buyer persona. Her name's Jen. She's a female. She's about 35, but generally this demographic's about 30 to 45. She lives in Sydney, and she's an HR advisor. This is her income, and this is what she needs from you. So this one was from a business coach. So she needs to find herself. She's stuck in a roadblock. Maybe she's, she's sort of lived a good life, but she wants to know what the next level for her life could look like. And she loves having adventures, being silly, laughing, but she's annoyed because she can't really do that in the workplace, or she's too fearful. She doesn't want to make a mistake. And she's proud of her friends and family, and that she doesn't have any debt, but her career is unpredictable. So this is a real profile of what it looks like to do a persona. So the more you know about them, the more you know how to market to people, because then you can really work on their frustrations and their pain points. And you can always create the audiences in the Facebook Audience Manager. I don't know if we'll have enough time to touch on that today, but you can create those remarketing audiences. So if someone's gone onto your website and they absolutely love your product, but they haven't committed to a purchase, you can remarket them from there. Or if someone's liked your Instagram post, you can remarket them for a conversion ad as well. Yeah, so there's 3 types in the audience manager. There's a saved audience, which is all the interest targeting. We will touch on this later. There's custom audiences, so you can actually upload phone numbers or emails into the Facebook database and then target them through there. Or you can do a lookalike audience, which is like, say, in Indonesia, you could look at the 1% of Indonesians that most resemble these characteristics. Now, I recommend lookalike audiences when you have like 1,000 purchasing customers. I wouldn't recommend to start off with them. I'd recommend you build the database first, and once you have customers, then you can do lookalike audiences. It's kind of like, it's, let's say a saved audience is level 1 and a lookalike audience is level 5. Let's just put it that way. And so with a saved audience, and we will touch on this, there's demographics, there's interests and locations, and you can target people around the world. You can actually target worldwide, or you can actually target by postcode. So you can get that specific or that broad. Custom audiences let you retarget people. So again, if someone's added something into your cart and they haven't purchased, or if they've gone onto your landing page, but they haven't put their email number and any sort of lead information, then you can actually market to them again. So yeah, you can upload the database and it'll identify country, email, phone number, all of these things. So if you've already got a database of people, this is really great. And how many of you have heard about the Facebook Pixel? Just give me thumbs up, thumbs down, a confused look. So I can just sort of read the room. But I'd say most people maybe haven't. And again, have you had that experience where you've, shopped online for maybe clothing, outfit, or any hobby that you have, and you find that the ad, you don't buy, but the ad follows you around? That's all to do with the Facebook Pixel. So the Facebook Pixel is like it's like a tracking code. It'll follow you until you decide to purchase. So you can actually build audiences on the website traffic that you have. I'll show you maybe a page with a Facebook Pixel. Show you this page here. I think this one's got the pixel. Yes. So you can download a Chrome extension, yet again, my handy dandy Chrome extensions, and you can put a pixel in here. So you need to either install it yourself or get a web developer to help you. You put it in the back end of your website, and that can help you track. And it's also really good for optimizing. When I was working in the startup that I told you guys about, we were spending like, oh my God, it was a very large spend. And then the Facebook Pixel came out and I went, oh no, that's rubbish. That's just going to waste my time. That's not going to be useful. So we ran some tests and we actually found with statistical significance that the Facebook Pixel is actually helping us get more clients. So the Facebook Pixel actually works. And if you are looking to advertise on Facebook, I highly, highly recommend you install the Pixel. It's like the bread and butter, and it'll help you read your analytics, but it will also help you get more people to purchase or fill a form or get more bookings. So I'll just go back and share this. So you can create all these different audiences. You can create people that have engaged with iOS or Android specifically as well. Or this is the one before was app activity. So you can, if someone's interacted with your app, you can target them again. Or if someone visits your physical location, like if you've got a physical store, like a bakery, you can actually track people that have visited your bakery. I remember I went to the shops maybe like 2 years ago when the world was opened up and we could walk around. I remember the brand Dyson, their hairdryer brand. I tried one of their Dyson products. I sat down on the chair, and then I swear to you, I could see all these Dyson ads following me around. And I realized that they were remarketing me with this offline activity app. And then there's engagement options. So again, one of them is anyone that's liked your Facebook page or engaged with your Instagram business profile, you can remarket them, like I mentioned before. Lookalike audiences. So you put your country of choice and you put the 1%. So you actually get the 1% of people that will look like the audience that you'd like. Generally, it's like a purchase audience. And Facebook does this regression analysis. They have so much data of everyone. So they'll choose the 1% or the 2% of the population that will resemble them the most. The ad campaign structure. I'd love to show you guys a real life example. And I'd love to show you all how to create one. So I'm just going to go into my ads manager. Now, most of you are used to seeing these kind of pages. Let me make that a bit bigger. You see here all the comments, likes, shares. You might have even done an ad in your startup or in your business yourself. But here, this is the advertising platform. It looks totally different. And I know a lot of people are not familiar with this. It is quite full on and shocking. But here you can actually track all these different things. So here I've got a purchase. There's some app installs. It was predominantly a mobile app. You can record how many leads. So that's 12 people went into this webinar that we did on. It's quite funny actually, how to get over your ex webinar. 12 people registered their details, and then we had a workshop. My friend is a coach and he ran that beautifully. So yeah, there's all sorts of different ads. You can find the cost per result. When you set things up on Facebook and you do a good job of it, it'll give you really great data, but you actually have to set it up yourself, or you have to hire an expert to set it up for you. And to create an ad, you just click on create. And again, this is the first question. This is the overarching question. Facebook's actually asking, right, what would you like to achieve? Do you want some Facebook ads? Do you want some app installs? Do you want some conversions? Like, do you want some sales? Do you want brand awareness? Do you want traffic going into your website or messages? So you give them the desired action. I'm going to go with the pixel option and press on continue. And then here's where I name my campaign. So I'm just going to call it test. And something I like to do is I like to give it a date because there's so many campaigns and ads I run. And instead of digging up in the stats, I just like to sort of look at, let's say, what's the date today? The 3rd of September. Oh, I'm not typing anything. 3rd of September, 2021. So that's for my own reference when I'm doing my analytics. Then I click on next. And in here, say I want to take people onto my website, but I could also, if I have an app, I can take them onto an app or Messenger or WhatsApp. With the website, if you have your pixel installed, you can actually let them know what events they'd like to choose. So I'd like to choose a lead event because I want people, maybe I'm running another webinar and I want people to go to put down their name, email, number, and attend the webinar. And then this part here is the budget. So you can allocate the budget depending on your business goals. For me, in this case, 20 leads for me are worth about $4 or $5. Let's say they're worth $4. So $20 a day will give me 5 leads a day. So I'm just going to leave it at $20, but you can choose your spend. And then I'm going to put the locations and the specific targeting. And this is where the persona can come in really handy. So I'm going to go ahead and choose, I'm going to do all of Australia because I can target all of Australia. I can choose an age range. Maybe I can choose 30 plus for my persona. 30 to 65 plus. And I'm going to choose both men and women. But if you're a male only brand or a female only brand, then I'd recommend you stick to whichever gender of preference. And then here, this is the detailed targeting, so I can add extra information. For example, I'm going to do another one, another webinar on empowerment. And I can just untick this. Maybe I can do one on happiness. So I can go in here and type in happiness. Sometimes, yeah, there we go. Sometimes it has a little delayed reaction. So I'm going to choose happiness, and you can actually click on suggestions to see what Facebook suggests. So they suggest quality of life, well-being, health and wellness, self-care. So I want people that value all of these things. And you can see on the right-hand side, this is the total population of everyone in Australia or wherever you target. This is everyone that's interested in happiness, health, wellness, self-care, well-being. There are 30 plus men and women. And something really cool I can do as well is narrow the audience, which means that, say I want people that have health and wellness, but I also want people that are going to make me money, that are going to spend. So I'm going to type in a demographic called engaged. Have a little delayed reaction. Engaged shoppers. There it is. So this is a behavior. This is Facebook's actually depicted who are the people who are most likely to buy online. So I'm going to pick this as a rule of thumb. So I get 3.3 million. And I'm going to narrow that down even further. I might even get people that like webinars because I'm doing a webinar. So I'm going to get web conferencing as a result, and maybe masterclass like today's one. So I get about 1 million people. So that's narrowed down from 17 million to 1 million. So you can slice and dice the data however you like. And once you're happy with all of that, you can go ahead and save that audience and give it a name that you'll remember. You can also choose your placements, but I recommend starting out, leave it, or the pixel is actually there to find out the best placements for you, which is really amazing. But look, you can choose, and this is what I mean. There's Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, Audience Network. And Audience Network is all of those news sites, news articles, gaming. But I like to choose them all. And then as I go down the line, I find out, say they're all buying from Instagram or they're all buying from Facebook, then I shut everything else down and I just get a bit more targeted. And then I'm going to move on onto the ad. So this is the bit where people get, this is the look and feel. This is what people get to see. And so I'm going to add an image of something I've done. I might add a video actually, because I've got a video here already. So you can upload your media, or you can add a video and an image. So if I had more time, I would probably update this ratio, but Facebook will kind of chop and change it. And then it's just going to play, and here's where I put the text. So let me show you what that looks like. It's just forming the video right now. So that's the video there. And I'm going to put the text and I'm going to say, yeah, ever feel like things are not working out for you? Or maybe, yeah, everything feel like things aren't quite working out. And you can put away a headline here, free webinar. And so you can put whatever you like, how to find happiness, let's just say, and I'll show you this. This is just loading now. It's having a little delayed response, but the primary text goes up on the top here, and the free webinar text here goes down here. So I feel like in my experience, I find people first search for the video or image, then they sort of look at this bottom text, and then they look at the top. And then the call to action could be, maybe if it's a webinar, sign up. If it's anything like buying something, shop now, learn more, apply now, that you can choose the best one. I mean, it's all very arbitrary. There's no right or wrong. And last but not least, I'm going to put my my webinar. So I'm going to put I'm just going to put the homepage here to show you. But I would really, if I was really launching this ad, I would have this as a specialized landing page. And so when I'm happy with that, I go ahead and I press the publish button, and then the ad will start running. And it may start running in the next 15 or so minutes. So that's pretty much how you build a Facebook ad. As you can see, there's 3 levels. So the campaign level is the overall shell, and it's that big question. The ad set is more like the budget, the audience, who are we targeting, how much are we spending, and the ad is the actual what people get to see. So there's 3 sort of layers to that. If you've got any questions, please put them on the chat box. But for now, I'll just move along, and I'll explain that in a little more detail. Yeah, so you know about the campaign, ad set, and ad. And this is not just unique to Facebook. All the social media platforms have this structure. To be honest, I think they copied Facebook. A campaign is that overarching goal. For example, you have a campaign for your men's jacket line, and there's one campaign for your women's jacket line. So you can split them up, male or female, or you can also do it by region. So you could do the Australasia region, then you could do Europe, and you can do the US, and sort of find out which is the best option. Or one campaign, if you're doing a software as a service product, and one for your small to medium business product. So you can test different things out. You can test maybe webinar versus PDF as well. An ad set is if you're selling male socks and you have the audience segment. So maybe you have young men and middle-aged men. Or for each, you may pitch distinct or overlapping value propositions, such as quality, beautiful, or unique. You then create one ad set per combination of value proposition and one audience segment. This keeps your targeting and messaging controlled, so that you can find the ads with the best wording, imagery for pitching, and proposition as well. And an ad, like we said, it's that whole look and feel. And you can do a lot of different stuff. You can do images, you can do videos, and this is the ad is the most interesting thing, because it affects, I would say it affects about 90% of the whole campaign itself. So if you really know your audience, and you just experiment with different ads, it can really lead your results to be higher. With the journal, the app that we were doing here, I remember when I first started this, after much testing, it was we drove it down from $12 to then $4 to then $2. And how we did that was we kept testing things. So we tested different types of videos. I'll show you the videos that we have. We tested different groups. So we ran all these different videos here, but we also tested different groups. We tested a happy group and we tested a not so happy group. And we found the not so happy group was actually downloading the app more, like it was actually solving their problem. And then we tried a message to maybe show them that we understand, but that didn't really work out because maybe it came across as too negative. So then we tried a positive message. And so it's all a matter of testing and learning and testing and learning. And yeah, you can create whatever you like. And the thing I've found is you won't know how effective it is until you try. Sometimes I go, oh my God, that ad is going to be rubbish. And sometimes I think this ad is going to do great and it doesn't do that well. So you won't know until you actually find the data for it. It's just a constant game of testing and learning. Ad campaign lifecycle. So the first thing that you need to do is to set up your conversion pixel. And if it's one thing and one thing only that you take from this masterclass is make sure your pixels are working so you can measure your data and then you can determine whether your ads were effective or not. Then the second step is to determine your budget. And I think we're going to run these in more detail. So this is the strip of code that you put on your website. You put the general code and then you put specific events. So if someone's added something into your cart, you can put that as a specific code. Again, a lot of this can be very technical and complex. So it'd be really great to engage in a web developer for this. And this is, again, like how to measure how effective a Facebook ad is running. It is just so good. You can test different groups, different things, like different images, and you can see the effectiveness when you have the Facebook pixel correctly set up. The next step is to set your budgets. It says here to individually reach 3,000 to 5,000 impressions and then interpret the data. But I think it's safe to say that if you spend $200 to $500 in your first budget, then you can determine how much does it cost for a customer to come in the door. And from there, you can do your forecasting and predictions. You need a significant sample size, but I'd say as a startup, I would suggest you have that test budget. And then if it seems like Facebook is feasible and appropriate and your competitors are there, then you may want to increase that $500 spend to $1,000 or $2,000 a month. The third step here is to create initial ad sets and their ads. So really get to know your persona. And for example, the mothers, software engineers, men under 40s with any job title, create an ad set and a value proposition. So if you do maybe a clothing brand, you want to target the men and then the women in another ad set and have it specific to them. For each ad set, create ads presenting the same value proposition in distinct ways. So you could do, for example, if you are that same clothing brand, you could do a white coat and a black coat and maybe some shoes and so on and so forth. You can experiment with it as much as you like. You can also, the key is to keep your finger on the pulse and keep monitoring that ad. One of the things I like to use is If you go on your phone and you search for what's it called, the App Store or the Play Store, you can find the Facebook Ads Manager app. Let me show you what it looks like. I don't know. Oh, it's hard to see in this background. But it looks like, if you look it up, it looks like a circle. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just quickly I'll stop sharing and I'll take off my filter, because this is a really great way to monitor your ads. How do I take off my filter? But anyway, it's called Facebook Ads Manager, and you can turn on and off your ads while you're on the phone, on the go. It's really fantastic. I wouldn't recommend it on the phone to kind of create ads, but I'd recommend to track your spend and switch it on and off. So it's literally, if you go on the App Store or Play Store, it's the Ads Manager. It is absolutely superb. So let me carry on sharing the screen. That's step 4, monitor. And yeah, it says here, if you reach the 3,000 to 5,000 impressions, interpret the data. Like maybe you could have a problem where everyone's going to your cart, no problems, but then they're not spending money. Or maybe they're going to your landing page, but they're not downloading the PDF. Or they're going into the page, but they're not booking. So have a look. You can always track where the blocker is. And then from that first test series, you can then optimize and begin tweaking the ads, tweaking the copy. Again, it's kind of, I got that app download from $12 or $14 at the beginning to then $2. And that was by tweaking the copy, changing the creative. I had a happy group, I had a sad group, I changed the landing pages. Like it's a constant test. My recommendation, especially as a startup, is to make one change at a time and work in what's called a sprint. So maybe you run it for 3 days and then you stop, and then you analyze your results. Then you analyze it or you run the ad for another 3 days, then you stop the ad, and then you analyze the results. You can duplicate your ad sets and ads, especially when they're really effective. You want to see how your tweaks simultaneously compared to the originals. So you're always, if you think about it, especially with creative, it's like a boxing match. You have the contender and you have the champion. And that's the same, that you have the winning creative and then the contender, the one that's running up. And it's a constant competition always. And when you're tweaking, you ultimately are looking to lower your CPA, your cost per acquisition. So the CPA for me was $12 and I lowered it down to $2, for example. And you want to increase the number of volume. So basically you want to get more sales and you want to get them for cheaper. That's the ultimate goal. And your work never ends. Sometimes people think that with a Facebook ad, you kind of leave it and you forget about it, but that's not totally true. It's an ongoing journey. You're always discovering new things to try, new value propositions, new imagery, new copy, maybe a new landing page. And there's even companies that test like the blue button versus the green button. Like you get to that level of detail, especially when you're spending thousands or tens of thousands on an application or on Facebook advertising. And then the retargeting is really key. So again, the people that have gone on the landing page but haven't taken the action that you want, you can follow that up because they're already interested. They're what are called a hot lead or a hot person of interest. So you want to keep on targeting them until they make the decision to convert. And when you're retargeting that custom audience, you can hit them with a unique set of ads. Normally they have a little bit of urgency, like 7 days left to get this special offer, or What are you waiting for? Or something specific to them, or we know, in a clothing store scenario, you can actually target say it's a blue shirt, you can actually keep retargeting that blue shirt again and again until they do purchase it. I think though you can do it for like 7 days or 14 days. And a lot of, most people don't make their purchase the first time, but they kind of follow it along and keep on purchasing. So they keep on seeing the ad, they need a few touch points, and then they purchase. So I thought of another activity, and that was some questions. So does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to ask, especially if it's specific to you and your brand? I may need some assistance with the messages, if that's okay.
Yeah. So if anyone wants, yeah, we have one. Dennis already raised his hand, but you can always take a break, like for a second. Yes, you can, no worries.
Fine, no problem.
Okay, Dennis, you can go ahead with your question, please.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Are my sound get clearly?
Sorry, what was that? I didn't quite hear that.
Okay, check. Can you hear my voice?
I can, yes.
Okay, first of all, thank you,
Yes.
Ms. Jessica, for inspiring presentation.
Oh, thank you.
I just want to ask a question. To advertising our product, we must build the brand first, like brand awareness, brand reputation, and engagement customer before we go to the efficiency of the ads. I just want to know your opinion. How do you think we should consider or planning getting an efficiency build branding before we advertise for our product? Thank you, Ms. Jessica.
Thank you so much. That is a brilliant question. I guess the way I tackle it, especially in a startup setting, is I do go for both at the same time, because we want to find the results fast. And I know that action really moves us forward. I know for some of my clients, maybe we started off with like a cost per purchase of $100. So it meant that it costed $100 to get a client. Then we did some more advertising. So then it was $50 and then $20. So typically brand awareness does go first, but in a startup scenario, I recommend that it goes sort of at the same time, it runs simultaneously. Just so you can get those results faster. But look, there's no right or wrong. There's a lot of ways to tackle this. So if, especially if you are in an industry where, say the product is like $1,000, $10,000, you may want to build some brand awareness. But if it's under $100, you could be ready for direct conversion marketing. I hope that answers your question, Dennis.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jessica.
Thank you so much. Any other questions?
Anyone wants to have questions directly to Jessica? Or we actually have some in the chat box.
Yes, I think there are some in the chat box.
Yeah. So I will just read it from the last we had. Okay, so we have questions from Tipanira. In business, there must be losses, and what would be the method to overcome that loss in the terms of finance? So if you have some tips on that, Jessica.
Yeah, I know that it is a big step to start with Google or Facebook advertising or any advertising like this. kind of cover the losses, the first thing to consider is to really be prepared. Let's say you start off with that first $200 or $500, like be prepared that you may actually lose that money and not recover it back in the first round. But that knowledge will go a long way, because instead of spending, tens of thousands of dollars on something that may not work, you've sort of dipped your toe in the water and you found out that maybe it doesn't quite work, or maybe it needs more tweaking. But really, that's the whole thing about being an entrepreneur and being in a startup. There is financial risk, and that is part of it. But what I do is I kind of allocate my financial risk. So I say, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 and I'm comfortable in investing in this. And I'm comfortable with the fact that I may lose this and not recover it. But by finding out that risk, you may get that reward. It's a really interesting question to answer. I think it involves a lot of mindset and psychology. And that's the bit of entrepreneurship that is very, psychologically demanding. So I don't know if that quite answers your question, but I think plan ahead and plan to be comfortable to, sort of put certain budget for knowledge and information.
All right. So Tifanira, do you have a follow-up questions, or that will be good for you? Okay, let's move on to the next question then, Jessica. Oh yeah, Tifanira says thank you. So we have another question from Novian. The question is about the buyer persona. For the buyer persona, why we need to choose the specific age, like 66 or 40, not to mix the range, like the bigger range of age, like 20 to 25?
Oh, it really depends. I like to keep my ages quite broad, but my interests very narrow. So that's my personal preference, because I know that I'm not going to decline a customer if they say I'm targeting everyone 30 and above. I'm not going to decline them of business because they're 29 years old, for example, just to give you. So I think that to start with ages, start broad, because you never know. Sometimes I've been in scenarios where I think, oh my God, this is for young people. And it turns out to be for older people. So I recommend that with the buyer persona. And like in due time, you'll start analyzing the trends, and it might be that there'll be a more specific age range for you, or it might actually be all ages. So you never know until you try. Just back to that question on mitigating risks that was asked last time. I just thought you can use the persona to build an audience. You know how we built an audience in the Facebook ad? You can do that and then look at the population. And from there, you can calculate. It takes a little bit of maths, but you can calculate how many people may purchase from you, considering that 2% of people may visit your website and 2% may buy. So if you find the daily reach, and then you find the 2% of the 2% that may buy, that's another way to kind of make a prediction, a financial prediction before spending the advertising budget. I mean, I hope that makes sense. I know it's a bit high level, but I hope that answers that question.
All right. So do we thank you, Jessica. Do you have another questions from the participants here? Please raise your hand if you do. Yeah, we have Nancy here. Nancy, please go ahead. Nancy? Oh, maybe she's accidentally click on the raise hand button. But Nancy, if you can hear me, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, okay? So, oh, actually, I kind of skipped one question before, sorry. We have a question from Karthik. This is about the, we are going back to the feedback. I think she gave us the question after you gave that question, give that comment on that. So what if the company would manipulate negative feedback to build up the trust? What do you think about it? Because sometimes they just delete or hide the negative feedback, or yeah. Do you have some thoughts about it?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, my view on it is to react to the feedback by getting the people offline or to have a conversation and resolve that outside. Yeah, it's an interesting one. That's sort of my thought. That's the best thing to do. But if maybe people are time poor or companies are time poor, maybe they will hide it. Or maybe if the comment is just profanity, it's also good to hide. Like if there's like a lot of swearing, a lot of discrimination, you can hide those posts because they're not appropriate.
Okay. And do you think we can do that as a new startup or when we start the business?
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't.
Yeah, like sometimes I know that when I was working in a startup, there would be people and they would be up at 2 a.m. I think they had a lot of sugar and whatever they had, and they would say a lot of strange things and often very offensive things. So I would just go ahead and hide that because I'm not going to take that offline. I find that that's not appropriate. But if it's a client concern, like I'm concerned that I haven't received this fund or I haven't received my product and it's been 30 days, then I would escalate that. Yeah.
Okay. So it depends how we see it, right? Some negative feedback could be a positive feedback actually for us to really build up our product. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think that's all we have in the chat box. Is there anyone? We have 3 minutes left for the session. If anyone has questions? Oh, I would also like to remind everyone that we have a presence list to fill in. Please open the chat box and you will see the link to fill out the attendance list.
I have one question. It is not regarding what was taught today. It is the competition question. So is this the right place to ask those questions, or do I ask that later on?
Yeah, maybe that's fine. That's Padanta is here, so you can ask.
Yeah, sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
Yeah, so my question was like, when we pitch in our ideas, is it any kind of idea, or we have to be specific that it should be sustainability goals focused, or the financial is the sole purpose, or we are considering the environmental aspect? And can we also take the product or service both, or we have to only give a product?
Okay, so basically any ideas, you can put that in the competition. But of course, we have several criteria. Some of those criteria, the impact on social issues, the impact on the environment. Of course, we evaluate the profitability and opportunity to growth, and how you can scale up the business with those ideas. Yeah. So any ideas can do. Yeah. We will share the criteria probably the 4th week. Yeah. When we are ready to set up the pitch deck and video presentation.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Padanta.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I would like to add just please that you follow the materials, you learn well, and please remember that in developing business ideas, we have to identify the problems, right? So when you talk about the problems, it can be social problems or environmental problems. Yeah, not only the economic problems, and those aspect will add value. Yeah, during the competition for your ideas. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Jessica, I think that will be it from the chat box and from the participants. I don't see raised hands from our participants today. So, do you have a closing remarks? Sorry, I think I kind of like lost it. So if you have a closing remarks or a closing statement, that would be
of course.
nice.
Well, I just wanted to thank you so much for your focus and your attention and the energy you brought into this. I really enjoyed being with you all today. I love that without even traveling, I could be international and be with all of you. And I hope you found this useful and entertaining as well. And yeah, that you enjoyed this masterclass and you had fun.
I do, and I'm sure everything is also enjoying this session. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank you.
And give you the applause. Thank you very much. For everyone who participate in this session today, don't forget we have another session for the masterclass, the third masterclass, and that will with different speakers, different masters. That will be at the same time, Friday 2 to 4 p.m. Jakarta time. So that will be all. Thank you very much for your time and for attending the session. Have a nice day, everyone, and have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Halo Mbak Diana, apa kabar?
Thank you.
Hai Pak Agung, kita pindah ruang.
Desi, kok saya selalu tidak bisa ya kalau mau submit untuk attendance itu?
Untuk presence
untuk ini
ya?
daftar hadir.
Oh, oke. Okay.
Iya, dia selalu mengatakan nggak bisa gitu loh.
Oke, coba saya sampaikan ya Pak.
Dia selalu mengatakan tanggal 27 yang lalu juga gitu, gagal juga gitu loh. Dia report abuse gitu, sign in saya coba tapi nggak bisa.
Oh, sudah sign in ya Pak?
Sudah sign in tapi dia tidak bisa submit juga.
Oke.
Dia muncul kan, pertama dia muncul nama harus diisi itu, tapi setelah itu muncul report abuse itu, terus nggak bisa ngisi dah saya.
Saya barusan coba, ini bisa sih Pak.
Nah,
kalau
biasanya
biasanya
27 saya hadir juga, tapi nggak bisa juga tuh.
Oke. Mungkin nanti bisa saya infokan ke panitia ya Pak, biar nanti presence-nya manual.
Oh iya, itu tanggal 27 juga saya hadir dari awal sampai akhir.
Oke,
saya senang ini kalau belajar ini. Ya,
terima kasih banyak.
Dianggap saya nggak ada kan nanti masalah juga gitu kan.
Oke, that's okay, no worries. Terima kasih informasinya Pak.